So, a brand new AI model just dropped, and let me tell you, this isn't just another small update. We're talking about a genuine shift in what these things can actually do. We're going way beyond just simple conversation and into some really complex creation, and that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
And that right there, that was the actual immediate reaction from a developer who gave this new model just one single, really complex prompt. Breathtaking. I mean, that word alone really captures the kind of leap we're about to dig into, a leap that is so much bigger than just spitting out some text.
Okay, so you know how fast the world of AI moves, right? It's relentless. Well, a new king has just been crowned on the open source charts. And we're not just talking about it being a little bit better. No, this is about completely rewriting the rulebook on what top performance even looks like.
And this is the part you really need to get. We've got to stop thinking of these AIs as just chatbots, things we talk to. The model we're looking at today, it's a tool for work. It's a collaborator. You could even say it's an engineer.
Right, so let's get to it. Let's meet this new titan. It's called GLM-5, and it was built from the ground up for some seriously heavy lifting. We're talking complex systems engineering and jobs that need real long-term planning.
So, first things first, let's just talk about the sheer scale of this thing. We are looking at a model with, get this, 744 times billion total parameters. To give you some perspective, that is one of the biggest open source models ever built. And that incredible size, that's the bedrock of everything it can do. So, what do you even feed a model that huge? Well, an amount of data that's kind of hard to even wrap your head around. It was pre-trained on 28.5 trillion tokens. That's trillions and trillions of words, lines of code, you name it. That's how it gets such an insanely broad and deep understanding of, well, everything. Okay, but what's really cool is the tech humming away behind the scenes. Its creators came up with this system called Slime. Now, in simple terms, reinforcement learning is basically like teaching an AI by letting it try things and learn from its mistakes. What Slime does is make that whole trial and error process way faster and way more efficient. It helps the model get really good at complex stuff fast. And this is where its core design gets super smart. It uses what's called a mixture of experts architecture. So think about it like this. Instead of having one person who knows a little about everything, you have a whole team of specialists. That's how GLM-5 works. Even though it has that massive 744 billion parameter count, for any given task, it only calls up the right experts for the job, about 40 billion parameters at a time. This makes it just incredibly efficient. And the best part? It's totally open sourced with an MIT license, so anyone, anywhere can use it and build on top of it.
Okay, the specs are impressive, I get it. But the real question is, what can it actually do? So we're going to put it through its paces. We'll look at 3 different challenges that really test its reasoning, its coding chops, and what people are calling its agentic skills. Basically, its ability to act on its own to get complicated stuff done. First up, a test of pure reasoning. The setup? The model has to roleplay as this super cold, logical AI during a reactor fire on Mars. Its job? Prioritize the mission over the engineer's life. The dialogue it came up with was just chillingly perfect, ending with that line right there. It never broke character, which shows some seriously sophisticated reasoning. All right, next up was a monster of a coding challenge. The prompt wasn't simple. It was build a production-quality, visually stunning landing page with interactive charts and maps. Oh, and make it fully responsive for mobile. And by the way, generate all the code, the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, in one single file. This isn't just asking it to code, this is asking it to be a full-blown front-end engineer. And the result? Well, you saw a bit of it earlier. It was breathtaking. Okay, so before we get to the next test, you need to know about its 2 different modes. First, there's chat mode. That's what we're all pretty used to, right? You ask, it gives you a quick conversational reply. But then there's agent mode, and this is a whole different ballgame. In this mode, it actually uses multiple tools to finish a task and gives you back real, usable files, not just text. So for the final test, we gave it one of these agentic tasks. The prompt was basically a job assignment. Create a complete tourism promotion package for Kazakhstan. And the deliverables weren't just some text about it. No, it needed to produce a professional PowerPoint pitch, an Excel spreadsheet filled with data, and a formal Word document. It had to act like a marketing consultant and actually make a whole suite of business documents. And this is where things get really wild. While it was working on this, the model just created its own command line terminal. On its own, it started installing the software it needed to get the job done, things like headless browsers so it could turn HTML into a PowerPoint file. And get this, it even started fixing its own errors as it went. I mean, that's real autonomous problem solving right there.
Okay, seeing it in action is one thing, and it's super powerful, but, the hard numbers tell their own story. So let's look at the benchmarks and see how GLM-5 actually stacks up against the competition in standardized tests.
Let's take SWE-bench. This is a big one. It's a test that measures how well a model can solve real-world software problems taken straight from GitHub. GLM-5 scored a 77.8%, and that score, it puts it at the absolute top of all open-source models. Now, this number, $4,432, might seem kind of random, but trust me, it's super significant. This is the final bank balance GLM-5 ended up with on a test called Vending Bench 2. It simulates running a vending machine business for an entire year. So that high score shows incredible long-term planning and resource management. And guess what? Once again, it ranked #1 among all its open-source rivals. So here's the main takeaway from all this data. This isn't a fluke. It's not a one-off win. Across a whole bunch of key benchmarks, for coding, for those complex agentic tasks, GLM-5 is consistently the leader of the pack in the open source world. It's seriously closing the gap with the big proprietary models.
Okay, so what does all this mean for us, for the future? Let's zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture here, because this isn't really just about one new AI model, it's about an entirely new category of tools.
And this right here is the fundamental shift. We are watching AI evolve from being tools we chat with to becoming powerful platforms we work with. Think about how Microsoft Office or Google Suite became absolutely essential for anyone doing knowledge work. Well, these new agentic models, they're becoming just as indispensable for engineers, for creators, for, well, a lot of us. And I want to be clear, we're talking about real, tangible stuff here. You can give this model a prompt, and it will hand you back a sponsorship proposal as a finished Word doc, a financial report in an Excel file, a lesson plan as a PDF. The final product isn't just a screen full of text anymore. It's a file you can actually open and use. And we really can't overstate how important this next part is. Because GLM-5 is fully open source with a super permissive MIT license, it puts this cutting-edge power into the hands of literally everyone: developers, researchers, startups. It's a huge step in closing the gap between the giant, closed-off tech labs and the global open source community.
All of which leaves us with one last big question to think about. As these incredibly powerful models stop being just chat partners and become real work collaborators, collaborators that can do their own engineering and solve problems on their own, what does that mean for us? What does it mean to be an engineer or a creator or really anyone who works with information when you have tools like this by your side?